Good morning. We will start session 3 on chapter light. So in our previous session, we understood what are the different types of reflection: regular reflection, irregular reflection and multiple reflection. And in multiple reflection, we understood what is kaleidoscope and periscope and their applications. So in today's class, we will start with dispersion of light. Now what is dispersion of light? Definition wise, the phenomenon of splitting up of white light into its constituent colors is called as dispersion of light. Now the phenomenon of splitting up of white light. Now where do you get this white light? White light is nothing but the sunlight. So we always term sunlight in terms of white light. So the phenomenon of splitting up of a white light into its constituent colors. Now how do a white light can split up into its different constituent colors? When a white light is passed through a prism, what we can say is it will split into different colors. Now actually here in your syllabus it is only given that a white light, when it is passed through a prism, it will split into a band of 7 colors, which we all call it by whip cure, that is rainbow colors, right? But the actual phenomena behind this is when a white light enters a spectrum, there is a refraction happening. Now this is a new word what you are listening, refraction. Right? It is quite different from reflection. To make you understand what is refraction, I will just give you a small activity for you to understand this. Now what is reflection? Bouncing back of a ray of light is called as a reflection. That is what we studied till now. Now here when a white light enters, it causes or it undergoes refraction. Means what? Now take a glass of water and take a pencil. Dip that pencil in the water, right? Now this is a glass of water and the pencil is dipped inside. Observe that pencil from this angle, right? What do you observe? Suppose if this is the glass and according to you, you have dipped the pencil. And when you observe it, does the pencil look the same as it is looking here now? No, right? It does not. I want you to try this, only then you will understand. So how the pencil looks actually? So when you put a pencil inside here, you see the pencil is slightly bent, right? Pencil, scale or anything. So when you observe it, dip that and observe it from this angle, that pencil is slightly bent, you feel, right? So refraction is bending of a light ray when it passes from one medium to another. What is this medium? See, now air is a medium, water is a medium. So when a light ray passes from air to water, right? From one medium to another medium, the light ray will bend actually. In a prism, the ray is bending from air to glass, right? So bending of a light ray when it passes from one medium to another is called as refraction. You don't have a concept of refraction here. You study that in your 10th standard in detail. Now in your book what they have given, what is dispersion of light? Bending, splitting up of a white light into its constituent colors when a white light is passed through a prism. That's all is given. But actually what happens here, now this is a white light. If a white light is entering a prism, it has to enter straight. Of course, a ray of light can always travel in a straight line. We all know that. But this is an imaginary ray what I have drawn. A ray of light, as it enters the prism, it will bend, right? It will bend and it will refract, correct? So bending of a light ray when it passes from one medium to another is called as refraction. And that phenomena what we get here is nothing but constituent of 7 colors. Now again here, for example, I have written, why can't I write like this with your, why I have written here? That also you have in detail you study, because you see that violet color has deviated the maximum. Red color has deviated least, right? If you observe here, that is the phenomena there. So when I compare violet and red, violet has deviated maximum and red has deviated minimum. So this is what you have to know, and you will study again in depth about this in your 10th grade. Now here let us only study a prism. White light is passing through a prism which will split into a band of 7 colors, right? That is dispersion of light. Now where all you can see this dispersion of light, example is a rainbow, what I can say, or the same here. What actually causes, see, when dispersion of light will cause, there should be a particular medium. Why rainbow occurs actually? Now for example, it's a very hot sunny day, suddenly it rains, right? So what happens there? Each droplet of the rain will act as a prism. So when the sunlight enters one droplet of a rain, it will split into colors. Such several droplets will make the formation of the rainbow. You study the same phenomena in your 10th standard there. What causes rainbow actually? Same phenomena. Each droplet will act as a prism. Now, sometimes when you stand in your balcony or when you stand somewhere, you have a glass railing. When you see at a particular angle, a sunlight falling on the glass or anything, you get a reflection in the form of a rainbow color, correct? Sometimes your CD also, the CD what we use in our computers, CD writers, that also held in a particular angle. When a ray of sunlight is falling on that also you see as a band of some colors there. That's only because whenever we see the band of these colors, those materials or those things will act as a dispersing medium, which is nothing but like a prism, right? So it's much depth if I have to explain. You have to only understand the definition of dispersion of light. What is a prism here? How the colors are split. That's all what is given in your NCERT syllabus. We'll move on to the next one. Human eye. Human eye is the most sensitive organ in our body which can sense the what you can say visual impacts. So I just drawn and only I have labeled few parts which are given in your NCERT book point of view to explain. There are still several things what you can label it here. You again study human eye in your 10th grade and in the same chapter where you study dispersion of light. Chapter is human eye and our colorful world. So what are the parts here? Lens, vitreous chamber, blind spot, optic nerve, retina. It's a place where the image is formed. Cornea, pupil and iris. Let's only understand the parts, not exactly the working of a human eye. We only understand the parts of the human eye in brief from your syllabus. Cornea. It is located in the front portion of the eye. So this is cornea. So cornea, you can say it is a transparent window which is bulged because it has to take the maximum refraction of light. Yes. So when we talk about eye, a light ray entering our eye refracts. There is a refraction happening, right? That is how image is formed on the retina. How image is formed, what is the phenomena? We will study that in your 10th standard. Now here we only understand what is cornea. Iris. It is the color part of the eye or the color pigment of the eye, what we can say. Now we all have seen, we say that he or she has blue eyes, green eyes, brown eyes, black eyes, correct? It is not actually the eyes, but it is the color of the iris when we talk about. That is the pigment what it gives. Color part of the eye, along with the color, it also controls the amount of light entering our eye. Now what do you mean by amount of light entering in our eye? Now suppose if I take a torch and put it front of your eyes, what do actually? You open your eyes wide or you just try to constrict your eyes like just by making it very small, correct? So iris will help our eyes to contract and to dilate, right? So sometimes when we just give a powerful beam of light to our iris will help us to contract. And we enter a dark room or something, our eyes will dilate. We try to dilate our eyes and we see. Or sometimes when we suddenly get shocked or we get scared by something, our eyes normally they become dilated, right? That's because of the iris, which makes our eyes constrict or dilate. Pupil. Light enters through pupil. So, light enters our eyes through pupil, but that light is what? The amount of light entering our eye is controlled by iris. More and less it is constriction and dilation is controlled by iris here. Lens. It is a jelly transparent material. Now, you all might have seen, if in case you come across somebody in your home using lens, eye lens, or in the movies, so it is nothing but a jelly transparent material what they use. So basically the type of lens our eye has is convex lens. Now you have not studied anything about lens. We have two types of lens, concave and convex. So let's not go much in depth about it. If you have studied in your 7th grade, if not in 10th, you again study in detail. So lens is a jelly transparent material placed behind the pupil. Retina. The screen of an eye where the image formation is done. So retina has some cells which are called as cone cells and rod cells. Now cone cells are sensitive to bright light and rod cells are sensitive to dim light. Now for example, that is what I told you, our iris will control the amount of light entering our eye to constrict or to dilate. So it is the process done by these cells. So because of these cells, our iris are able to control. That is, when sensitive to bright light, when a bright light enters your eye, what happens? Or when the dim light enters, when you are into dim light, what happens? Now for example, you enter into a dark room. Okay, let me take an example. You enter into a movie theater, right? Initially when you enter into a movie theater, it is very dark, correct? You're not able to see things around. Suddenly after 2-3 minutes, what happens is your eyes gets adjusted to that light, right? And you start seeing things around you. Am I right? So that is nothing but their cone cells and rod cells will work, which are sensitive to bright light and sensitive to dim light. One more point I must telling here, that is in pupil, light enters the eye through the pupil, not in pupil, in the lens. It is a jelly transparent material behind the pupil. Now along with this, once the light enters our eye, so it has to see the things around us, right? Now for example, you have a binoculars. So you want to see the object which is far away or something, you adjust the lens, manually. But what should happen with our eye? Now a book which is there in front of me, I can read it very well. I can also read the signboard which is there a bit far from me, correct? That means my eye lens are adjusting automatically with the distance what I am standing. I need not require manual adjustment. That this lens does it with the help of the ciliary muscles. So these muscles will help in what? Adjustment of the lens from whether you want to see it here or whether you want to see something from far. That is something called as power of adjustment, which you will again study in your 10th grade. Yes, retina we understood. So cone cells are sensitive to bright light and rod cells are sensitive to dim light. So these will start adjusting according to the light what is given. Optic nerve. Optic nerve, we all know what is the role of a nerve, right? So nerve cells, we studied that in the cell chapter. So nerve cells helps in transferring and receiving the signals, messages. Now what type of messages here? Visual messages. So optic nerve will help to transfer, to send the visual messages to the brain. Now for example, if I see something, I know what it is. Or if a ball is coming towards me, I know to catch because I can see that ball, correct? That means my visual nerve will send a signal to the brain and brain will again send the signal back saying that there is something coming, you have to catch it. So that is the function of the optic nerve. So this is the brief explanation about the human eye. Now apart from this, there is one more thing there, that is blind spot. Now, what is blind spot? To understand this, we have to do a very small activity which we'll be doing it in the next session. So in the tomorrow's session, I want you all to sit with a small piece of paper with a pen or a pencil in your hand to understand what exactly is blind spot and how it works. Then we also have another term, that is persistence of vision, a very interesting phenomena or fact, what I can say. We'll do that in tomorrow's class. Apart from that, we also will learn about how visually challenged people are able to read and write, right? They have a particular type of a system. So with that, they are able to read and write. And what is it? A brief in detail about that we will study. So in today's class about dispersion of light and human eye, what we have studied, if you have any doubts, you can call on the same day of the video set. Thank you.